Hey guys, it's Maddie. I'm here showing you today a tutorial of how to use the Notability app. You can see here I have it organized on the left. You can toggle between all of the notes, the most recent ones you've used. I don't have anything unfiled because I'm just so organized like that, but you can't delete it. Things that are random that I really don't have a place for at the moment. And you can see within my journal, I have daily planner as well as grad school, undergrad, things I've done in the summer, certain files like that, things that are personal, as well as I have research, so everything that I need organized for my lab, stuff that I've downloaded, random notes that I've taken during meetings, protocols that I have written out really fancy, papers that we've read for lab meeting that I've been able to annotate, and stuff that I needed for my thesis, and even building a poster presentation through this app. And then you can see below that I have my classes organized by each semester, and they go really nicely filed underneath each semester. And of course you can color code based on your schedule. I like to match this to my Google Calendar because I love organization and color coding, everything like that. So you can see each class and the number of notes that you have underneath of that. And just to start to give you a little overview of what you can do with the features. This is just the home screen, so at the top you can see any exporting that you need to do. You can share them as a PDF. They also have a feature where I have everything is backed up onto Google Drive, so I can access any of these notes at any time, and at live updates as a PDF file, I can access them on Drive as soon as I close the page that I'm working on. And then you can add new subjects or a divider. You have the search tabs. You can search for any single document within the Notability app. You can also import files from Dropbox, Google Drive. You can even scan your own documents and import them and organize them that way. And then this is just the create the new note feature. So here I will show you the features that you can do within this app. And everything's just going to start as a note from the day if you don't choose to rename it. So if you do choose to rename it, which I'll just have the pad pop up, and you can see that you can rename it. It's going to have the date and the time, and then all of these features at the top. So we have our undo button on the left, which I'll show you in a second. This is the T's for text, so you can actually type if you have a keyboard. You can see all the different fonts and sizes, bold, underline, colors popped up just at the bottom, but I have used this type feature before if I needed to type things quickly, but I usually just use the handwriting feature with the pencil and my Apple Pencil. So here you can see the multitude of different sizes of the pen. So that's my favorite size that I use typically for writing. It gets larger. You can change the colors. And even if you want a dotted line, which is really awesome, or you want the line to feather out at the end and look more like a pen. You can also customize your colors, and there's a multitude of colors that already come pre-downloaded with Notability, but you can also create your own, which is a nice feature, and save those, as well as the highlight feature, which looks nearly identical. I keep the size the same, but all of the differences, these are going to be transparent, so you can easily see through and change the thickness if you need of your highlight, which I really enjoy. I use a lot of these bright colors for highlighting my notes, which I'll show you an example in a minute. And then the erase feature has been updated by Notability, which I think has turned out to be really awesome. You can see that there's a whole erase or a partial. Before they only had the whole erase where you'd have to erase the entire piece, but now with the partial you can just erase a piece if you don't actually want to erase that entire part that you were working on. And then you can also change the size of the eraser as well, which is really great. This cut tool, the lasso, is really awesome for you to be able to move notes around, which is so much better than on paper when you run out of room and you're writing notes and you're like, oh, I wish I just had more space right here. You can lasso and move things around. Like I'll show you if I lasso a portion of here, this dotted line, not only can I move it around in one cohesive piece, I can also duplicate it. I can copy and paste if I wanted it in a totally different space. I can move it around, and I can also, I can also make this piece bigger and smaller depending on where I'm moving it to. So that's another great feature. And then the square just means that it's going to move a whole chunk of a square. But the lasso, you can draw your own, portion of what you want to take. And then here with the pointer feature, this just basically takes off any control to the text, so it's not going to draw or change anything. And then this is going to be your laser pointer, which is a new feature. It's really great, especially, I should probably just keep this on now for a presentation when you're trying to have the reader follow along, the audience follow along with your screen and what you're trying to share with them, which I am actually doing right now. This microphone feature in the top corner is something that you can use while you are listening to lecture. So if I turn this on right now and I am taking notes during class on what I'm saying. So, okay, this is not what I write with. Let me go back. So this is what I write with. So the Apple Pencil is really great and accurate in picking up all my features are like on set right now. Really great at picking up your voice. So you can see every time that I talk, the little volume meter on the button goes up, and it picks up in lecture, but also while you are writing, it's going to keep that mark while you're taking notes in that class. And once you stop it and play it back again, this feature, listening to lecture. Okay, we're listening. Let's just ignore what I was saying, but I'm fast forwarding, and you can see just as the lecture is going on in the time of the voice, your notes appear at that same time, and see how it's a grayscale before, and then as they appear throughout the time, it shows up there. So I think that's really great. You can amplify it, make it so much louder when you're really far away. Animation preview, no replay. It's super awesome, and I highly encourage this feature. And yeah, so as we get over to the right here, there's so many things that you can add into each note that you're working with. So this photo library, for example, you can add photos from your library. Here's some screenshots that I have. For example, you can add screenshots and you can easily move them around. Enable a caption around the corners, crop it out. It's pretty awesome with that, as well as opening up the camera to take a picture live, scanning a document, adding a GIF. So funny. You can add that into your notes if that makes you feel better. I think that would be hilarious, but so distracting for me. As well as a web clip if you need to add a URL, or any sticky notes, which is so helpful when you need to be focusing on something in particular in that section of your notes. And then, as always, you can change the paper that you're working on. So this is I standard do these thinner lines because I write typically really small. You can do a blank page. This is really nice, simulating like lab notebook paper or for math. And then all these different backgrounds if you're feeling a little funky. I think it's really great to have those options. And then you can also view this as a seamless scroll. So as you can see, there's 2 pages down here. 2 pages. And as soon as I write on the second page, it'll pop down to 3, and you can always toggle through that way. Then any info that you need about the document, any help. And then this feature on the side shows you all the pages, right? You can bookmark these pages. You can search for a word that is in one of those pages all the way down if you're trying to quick look through the document. And then what's also really great is that you can add a page in between if you need more notes. I love that because I always run out of space and always end up adding more stuff after I complete my notes. And then you can always delete them or duplicate it. Yeah, I think that's a really great feature for you to be able to organize your notes, especially when you're not organizing them all at once and you go back to look at them later. So I'm just going to delete this note real quick. Here's an example of something this is just a protocol for my experiments that I do in the lab. And you can see how nice it is to organize and move everything around. Like I was not able to write all this in one shot, right? So it's really great to just add pieces and parts of it and move it wherever you need it to be, changing the color, the size, copying and pasting all of this text. I didn't write this over and over again, right? That would be so pointless. That's something that you have to do with regular pen and paper, but on here you can copy and paste this text and duplicate it, and I just changed the dates. So when I have something that's repeating like this, I can just duplicate it and then change the numbers. I think that's a really great feature. So yeah, that's typically what I use this for in terms of my lab work, collecting data and really just writing down all different numbers and keeping myself really organized. This just is another way for me to do that super simply. So in terms of taking notes during class, let's just take a look at my biochemistry notes from last semester. So what's really great is that you're able to import your lecture slides. So if we see here, like this chapter 21, I have the lecture slides downloaded directly from Canvas from my professor, and I'm able to annotate them right during class. So here's an example of notes that I wrote while I was in class, and these slides were up on the screen. It's just the same as taking notes on slides if you print them out or typing on your computer, but I personally enjoy handwriting them, so here are examples of what I would do during class. And then once class is over, which is really great, is the share screen. So if I go, split screen. So if you swipe with your finger from the left to the right, you can see this note switcher pops up, and you can search for any notes, any recent notes. So if I just go to this lecture, you can view it on the left or the right, so it's really awesome. You can split your screen and control how much, so you don't have to have two separate apps open. It's all within the Notability app. So after I download my slides and I'm trying to copy them after class, I go to create a new note for that lecture, write, chapter 2, continued, whatever, and I'm able to then easily, let's just go down to the bottom, where I can write new stuff. I can easily look at both at the same time and start taking notes, phospholysis, right? And I can do that simultaneously. So this is what I would do after a lecture is over, and I'm compiling all of my notes here. And yeah, you can easily switch them, close one out, leave the other one open. And honestly, that feature changed my life, being able to share your screen with multiple notes at the same time. Unfortunately, you can only do up to 2, so I wish you could do more than 2, but honestly, it might be a little bit hard to be able to see all of that at once, all that information. But yeah, I hope this helps and gives you a little bit of a preview of what Notability looks like and all of the features that you can use it for. And I'm going to have listed other things that I use Notability for other than note-taking. If you saw within my journal, my planner, so I have there's a habit tracker, which is really nice. I made that one on my own, but you can download planners off the internet and fill them out. I think that's really great. And obviously with the coloring feature, I do use the Adobe coloring book pages and download them for free and color them on here as well. Let me show you one that I've actually completed on here, where this one is one that I'm working on. So they're just loading. This one I've done. Another one during quarantine as well when I was really bored. So yeah, I hope this helps. Let me know if you guys have any questions or want to see any other tutorials.